Netflix is an acclaimed content streamer for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that at times they go and get shows that at first wouldn't seem to be the biggest of hits, and yet turn out to be rather legendary in how they go and appeal to certain people and thus get a lot of attention. The show Making a Murderer is a great example of that, as the first 2 seasons of the show were big hits and reflected upon many topics of discussion. But will there be a third part to the show? Allow us to show you, will there be Making a Murderer Season 3? Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The show Making a Murderer is about the story of Steven Avery, a man from Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, who served 18 years in prison for the wrongful conviction of sexual assault and attempted murder of Penny Bjornson. And to be clear, he was indeed 100% innocent of that, and it was proven in various ways over the years, showing a true miscarriage of justice. However, his newly won freedom didn't last, because he was charged again in 2005 and convicted in 2007 for the murder of Teresa Halbach. Then there was Brendan Dassey, his nephew, who was accused and convicted as an accessory in the murder. So right off the bat, we have a very difficult situation on multiple levels. And that's where the show came into play. The first season detailed the years of 1985 and 2007, portraying Avery's 1985 arrest and conviction, his subsequent exoneration and release in 2003, the civil lawsuit Avery filed against Manitowoc County, his 2005 arrest, and his ensuing trial and conviction in 2007. It also depicts the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of Avery's nephew, Brendan Dassey, focusing on the accusations of coercion and attorney ineptitude, which, to be clear, has absolutely happened in various cases over the years, and Avery's previous wrongful conviction shows that the justice system in Wisconsin is not 100% accurate. The second season explores the aftermath of both Avery's and Dassey's convictions, focusing on Avery's and Dassey's families, the investigation, and findings of Avery's new attorney, Kathleen Zellner, which corroborates the thesis of Avery's innocence and him being framed for the murder of Halbach, and Dassey's legal team's efforts in arguing in court that his confession was coerced by prosecutors. While it debuted in 2015, it was filmed over the course of 10 years, with the filmmakers moving back and forth from New York City to Wisconsin during filming, showing just how important it was for this filmmaking crew to go and get the right details from the right people and follow the case wherever it led. Making a Murderer was not just acclaimed, it was a big award winner for Netflix, further adding to the accolades that they've gotten over the years. Making a Murderer was widely viewed and has generated a considerable controversy both in Manitowoc County, the setting of events, and nationwide. A petition in December 2015 to the White House to pardon Avery garnered more than 500,000 signatures, showing just how strongly those who watched felt about the incident in question. But it didn't stop there. While there hasn't been a Part 3, this story is still continuing on in the media and in the courthouse, and things are only getting more curious and intense, which makes what was shown and revealed in the first 2 parts of Making a Murderer all the more important. Brendan's appeals. Let's start off with Brendan, because while many might be thinking that the main person in this is Avery and that he's guilty, Brendan's role in this is easily one of the more controversial elements of both the case and what the show depicted. As noted, much of the case against Avery and Dassey was based on Brendan's confession, one that had been gotten using questionable techniques by the sheriffs involved, and how they were going and talking with Dassey, who was 17 at the time and thus a minor, without a lawyer present. This was a crux in the case, and especially after Making a Murderer came out, people wanted justice to make sure that this was being handled the right way. In August 2016, United States Magistrate Judge William E. Duffin ruled that Dassey's confession had been coerced, and was therefore involuntary and unconstitutional, and ordered him released, which was obviously a huge win for Dassey and his team. But an appeal by another court blocked said release, and thus the case had to be heard again. This time around, though, it wouldn't be done with a more standard jury trial, but rather an en blanc, or judge panel case. It's not unheard of, it's just rarely talked about. Regardless, it was approved, and in that trial, the original conviction of Dassey was upheld, meaning that he wouldn't be released from prison. As of right now, he is still in prison for the various crimes he was accused of. His parole is currently set at 2048, though his team and others are trying to work hard to figure out how to go and prove definitively that the evidence against him was coerced and that he deserves to be free. Whether that happens is a bit up in the air right now, as many appeals and other attempts to get him free have been ignored or straight up blocked. Even the Supreme Court of the US was asked to overlook a retrial appeal, and they removed the case from their docket without explanation, which is incredibly odd, given that they're the highest court in the land, and they should have said something as to why it didn't get brought before them. As for the main man in the case, Steven Avery, he too is behind bars still, and if he's not able to be released via appeals or being proven innocent, he's going to be in there for the rest of his life. However, to say that he has lost hope would be a lie. Despite being in prison for literally decades between his various crimes, both legitimate and false, he maintains that he is innocent of this crime that he has been accused of. Furthermore, due to the media coverage and what was revealed in Making a Murderer, he's not only got a fan base rooting for him to get free, but his lawyer is working tirelessly to try and get him out, should he be proven innocent. And we need to be clear that the emphasis is on the word should. There's no doubt that he's going to sue the county, and possibly even the whole state of Wisconsin, for wrongfully convicting him not once, but twice. As of right now, he lost a recent appeal, but he and his lawyer aren't giving up because they believe they're in the right. Season 3? It's all speculation at the moment, as neither the filmmakers Laura Ricciardi and Moira Demos nor Netflix has confirmed a third season. That said, the filmmakers did tease fans in 2018 when they said that a third season could definitely be in the cards. By that logic, fans expect there to be an announcement in 2021, with the first season coming out in 2015 and the second series following 3 years later in 2018. If the producers stick to this pattern, it's possible Making a Murderer Season 3 could be released in 2022, which would line up with certain events and the fact that the pandemic shut down a lot of production efforts. Brendan Dassey's lawyer tweeted in January 2021, "Every day I get DMs and emails from people around the globe who have ideas about how to fight for Brendan Dassey, ideas about evidence to test, arguments to make, etc. We read them all. 5 years after Making a Murderer, your commitment hasn't wavered a bit. Neither has ours. What would it be about? Every season had a purpose in terms of looking at the case and seeing if justice was done or set up. For Season 3, the focus would have to be on the team working harder than ever to get evidence tested, retested, and proven to be false. But in truth, it might be wise to hold off on a third season until something major truly happens, such as if Avery is set free, because that would be a fitting conclusion versus them going and just dragging things along. It'll be up to Netflix to determine what they want to do next. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at Making a Murderer, and whether a third season is likely to happen on Netflix? Would you want to see it continue if it helps bring justice to those involved or affected by the crime in question? Do you think that Netflix honestly is on a slippery slope here with this show? What did you think of Making a Murderer when you saw it? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.